Avtar Meher Baba ki jai. So we continue our reading with the book by Bal Natu. Before that, we start with My Wish. Ashok ji, are you in a position to read?
Yeah, yeah.
Please go ahead.
Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. My wish, the lover has to keep the wish of the beloved. My wish for my lovers is as follows. 1. Do not shirk your responsibilities. 2. Attend faithfully to your worldly duties, but al- keep always at the back of your mind that all this is Baba's. 3. When you feel happy, think, Baba wants me to be happy. When you suffer, think, Baba wants me to suffer. 4. Be resigned to every situation and think honestly and sincerely, Baba has placed me in this situation. 5. With the understanding that Baba is in everyone, try to help and serve others. 6. I say with my divine authority to each and all that whosoever takes my name at the time of breathing his last comes to me. So do not forget to remember me in your last moments. Unless you start remembering me from now on, it will be difficult to remember me when your end approaches. You should start practicing from now on. Even if you take my name only once every day, you will not forget to remember me in your dying moments. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. Over to you, Karthik. Thank you.
Avtar Meher Baba ki jai. Thank you so much. So we are in session number 37, right? So we've had 36 before this, and we are somewhere not even close to 50%. We are close to 40% of the book. And the last week,
How many
uh,
pages is it?
if you see right on top, it's 2000 pages, but that's split over 4 volumes. We are in volume 2 right now, but I have combined it all into one big file, which is not the way it's available on the Trust website. The Trust
Mm-hmm.
website has it as 4 different books. And I think even in the physical form, it's sold separately.
Mm-hmm.
So coming back, we are at 40 odd percent of the book, just so that we have the context. We went through the early days of we went through an overlap of what we read with Donkins in the early stage on the Must tours. Then we started on the New Life, and the last reading must have been around Hyderabad, and I missed the reading, and I'm yet to catch up with it on recording as well. And we stopped at page 347. So I will start with, I think, the last section. In fact, if anybody wants to read first, there, then please put your hand up and we can have you start it.
I,
But
I
otherwise,
start. I can start.
yeah, let's start from the section We Thanked God, and that's page 347. Avtar Meher Baba Ki Jai.
Vijay. We thanked God. Baba concluded the discourse and proposed that in the afternoon he would like to have some indoor games. He added, "This will be a sort of relaxation for me, and with help will help me to decide about the persons who should be with me during the Manunash period." From this serious subject, the minds of all were thus switched to playfulness and fun. Different persons suggested different games, and Baba attentively listened and even joked about certain proposals. Unexpectedly, he ordered an interval of half an hour. During this period, he interviewed one by one all the 21 persons who had volunteered to accompany him. Baba freely discuss the commitment, liabilities, and responsibilities that each one has to shoulder, as most of these men were householders. He appreciated the courage and devotion of all and their loving response to his call. Any honest and sincere offer or expression always evoked Baba's admiration. But he comforted them all and asked each one to wait for the opportune moment. When we all gathered in the hall, we were told that out of 21 persons, Baba had decided no for 15. Pendu, Irich, Gustadji, Baidul were to accompany Baba definitely for 4 months. About Minu Karas and Daulat Singh, he was to give him his final decision on September 7, 1951. Baba instructed Adi to issue a circular to the Baba people instructing them not to have any correspondence with Baba and not to try to see him, even if they happened to hear of his whereabouts. The suggestions for games were again invited. Baba, being very practical, directed the discussion to the program of light entertainment, including a fancy dress parade. He himself proposed the names of some who were to participate in the program. After lunch, the Hindu group was apprised of the discourse in English on Manonash given by Baba in the morning. Pendu was busy having a small stage put up in the hall. Exactly at 3 p.m., the show commenced. An atmosphere of joy and light-heartedness prevailed. Dr. Ghani appeared on the stage as a Pathan to loud applause. Savik Kotwal, though, though in his 40s, danced so well that his skilled performance gave Baba the surprise of the day. The last item was a song by Mirabai, sung by Rustum Kaka, Hati Daru, with the accompaniment of a harmonium. In a very melodious manner, the refrain of the song was Payori maine Ram Natan Dhan Payo. Barley,
Wow.
have I found the most precious pearl, the divine name of God, man, Rama. As the song proceeded, Baba looked very solemn. With a steadfast gaze, he commenced looking outside the window most of the time. This was unusual. It seemed that he was gradually withdrawing himself from everything about him. This had its effect on the audience too. Rustam Kaka, with eyes closed, continued to sing in his wobbling, inviting voice. When the song was over, with a remote glow in his eyes, Baba conveyed, I have heard this song and some similar songs many times, but today it is something different. The song has evoked something in me, and in the presence of God, I felt that the work I have undertaken will be done successfully. So let us thank God wholeheartedly. At Baba's indication, all the people rose up and thanked God from the bottom of their hearts. It was 9:30 p.m. At the
4:30
close,
p.m.
it was 4:30 p.m. At the close of the program, Baba had gave a locket with his picture on it as a present to each one who had tried to entertain him. The rest of the people felt that they had lost a good opportunity to receive something precious from Baba's hands. Perhaps sensing his feeling, Baba called for some roses and very lovingly gave a petal to one and all. He dictated, the main program for which I have called you is over. Tomorrow we go out for sightseeing to Osamnagar. Someone suggested,
Osman
Os-
Sagar.
oh,
Maybe it's a
sorry,
lake or something. Yeah.
okay, sorry, Osman, Osman Sagar. Someone suggested that a group photo with Baba be taken. Baba agreed, and this made all happy. This was perhaps the first and the last group photo in the new life, a great treasure. We were to get ready by 7 a.m. the next day.
So this is still Hyderabad.
Yes. Grand, grand game of the God Man on June 30th. We were in the hall in the morning. Baba had put on the yellowish silk coat over his usual white sadra. He had his hair plaited, although a few loose strands were still flowing above his earlobes. To me, he looked rather slim, but very beautiful and powerful too. He dictated from the board. These 2 days have been of extreme happiness for me. I hope you too must have shared this happiness, having made the declaration in the presence of God and the perfect ones of past, present, and future, and you to witness it. I feel extremely happy. Honestly, I feel happy. Baba put the board aside, and at his gesture, we left the hall of the two buses waiting outside. We reached Osman, what is it?
Osman
Osman
Sagar.
Osman Sagar.
Osman Sagar. Yeah.
Osman Sagar, a very extensive man made lake. Sagar literally means sea. We walked along the bridge and reached the other end of the garden. A very cool and charming place indeed. Then we drove to Char Minar, the famous four minarets and Medina Masjid Mosque. To make us feel more refreshed, Baba asked all to have tea in the good hotel. Then we were taken to Baghe Am public gardens. With Baba in our midst, we quickly strolled through the garden, stopping on the way. Baba conveyed, I like Hyderabad for the spiritual atmosphere, especially for its Hindu Muslim unity in matters spiritual. He also told us that he had not washed his head for the last 2 months, but after our departure, he intended to wash his hair. Some wondered why Baba should tell them about such a personal thing. Was it not a sign of intimacy towards those who had come? The party returned to Ali Nawaz's bungalow by 10:30 a.m. The photo was taken on the steps of the building. Baba again called us on the first floor and distributed prasad packets, sweets to all. He instructed each one not to open it until one got home. Once there, however, we were permitted to share the contents with our family members and whomsoever we liked. Baba was lavishly showering his love on us all. As he left for the lunch, he told us that he would be back again by 2 p.m. and that no one should ask him any questions at the time of farewell. We had our meals and we packed our bedding and bags. We were about to rest, but Baba's car rushed up to the driveway, and within a few minutes we were in his presence. It was again a session of harmonious stories and good jokes,
Humorous.
humorous stories and good jokes. By afternoon, we collected our small supper cartons. Baba gestured, Don't waste a single particle from this stuff. Prasad from the abode of God man is indeed one of the most precious things to receive. What a cheerful face! He waved at us and gestured, Don't worry, be happy. What a lovely parting. The next morning, I reached Kurtuwadi for a number of
Yeah.
in the hall at Hyderabad often filled my being with a delightful feeling. Thoughts about Baba and his graceful gestures brought me luminous, lively remembrances. Yet sometimes a part of my mind would raise questions about the discourse on Manunash and especially Baba's new life. its inauguration and imminent consummation. My heart continued to remain steadfast in his love, but the mind would not keep quiet. How can it ever understand the grand game of Godman, who in fact is leading his own self in and through us, all beyond births and deaths? The explanation given by Meher Baba, linking the reincarnation theory of Hindus with the no birth concept of Muslims and Christians, was undoubtedly superb and matchless. Till this day, I personally have not come across such simple yet more convincing statements made by anyone on such a paradoxical spiritual subject. Besides, Baba's statement that each time one gets up from sleep, it is a new birth in the same body appealed to my heart very much. What a challenge and an opportunity each day for a new life, I thought.
I can pause you for a minute here. So, what is this contrasting that is being referred to? If anybody who remembers from the last week's reading can mention it, I'm just curious. But obviously, there is the real death and the real birth, which is all encompassing, and that's a beautiful way of contrasting Abrahamic religion's view on rebirth and Hinduism on rebirth. But anything specifically? Because I think there's also talk of the sleeping. I mean, every awakening every morning is a new birth. Is that so? Just curious.
Yeah, I mean,
Anyone? Yeah.
the the uh, the Islamic or Christian this thing, the body is buried at the day of the when God descends. I mean, they will all rise up and meet Him. And in we have different bodies that we take. There, it is the same body which is buried. So that's the only difference. I mean, real birth and real death is the same. So that's the only the way it is
Yeah, yeah.
actually. I
So
think.
I think Baba says there is only one real birth and one
Yeah,
real death. So
correct,
he
correct.
beautifully says that even what is said in Quran is correct,
Yes,
but you go through multiple journeys, right? So
yes,
you
yes,
go
yes.
through multiple journeys, but the ocean and the drop recognizes itself and starts the journey. That's the real birth.
Mhm.
And the end of the journey is the end of, whatever way we end our journey after involution, right? So you go
Yeah,
through
yeah,
to use the latest analogy from last week, you walk down the steps and then you walk up the steps and you reach whichever point you're supposed to reach, and that's the end. So, in that sense, there's no rebirth, is what Baba says in support of the Abrahamic view and in support of, so it's basically how you see it. And again, personally, I think the construct of rebirth was a weakness in organized religion, because it makes the powers that be that control religion weaker, because you have now a rule system, a rule based order that's more direct and more in the control of the individual soul, and there is no role for organized religion, the ruler, the pontiff, and so on and so forth. So I think we went down the path where that it's easier to control people if you say there's no rebirth. That's my personal opinion.
yeah. And
Right.
other thing that I wanted to just add is, I think after Ahmednagar, Pune, and Mumbai, Hyderabad is a city where Baba visited the most time. If I
Oh,
am
okay.
not wrong, I saw in the Mayor Baba Hyderabad Center's website, there's a 14 visits Baba had made to Hyderabad. I think
Oh,
because
wow.
Hyderabad has been very, very close to Baba's heart. And Osman Sagar, I just saw the picture. It's a lake around the city, and there is also a Hussain Sagar Lake, which is in the middle of the
Yeah,
city.
there's,
Yeah,
in
Hussain
fact,
Sagar
I
Lake, where you
looked
have
it
the
up as
Buddha
well.
statue. They have
Hmm.
installed a
Hmm.
Buddha statue in the middle of the waters. And Osman Sagar, I think, is a irrigation collection dam kind of. There's a check wall is there on which Baba must have
Yeah.
walked down, which was
Yeah.
mentioned in what was we were reading. You see, yeah,
Yeah. So here it is.
yeah.
So it's larger than this is Hussain Sagar,
Hussain
the
Sagar is very
Buddha.
small. I mean, in that
Yeah,
comparison,
relatively.
it's
I
only
mean,
a
it's
lake
it's big.
actually. It's
Correct.
only a lake. You can go around all the place. Where this is, you build a dam or a check
For
dam as we call it,
with
and the
the check
water
dam.
gets collected, the rainwater. Yeah,
Correct. Correct.
like that. Yeah.
So there must have been a
Actually,
purpose in this.
Jay Baba, uh, I just wanted to add that while of course you all refer to supplement 19, the real birth and real death, so there is only one real birth and one real death, and you are born once and you really die once. But if you sleep and wake up in the same body, then that's okay. You are in the same costume, so to say. But if you wake up and get into another body, then it's just uh, uh, that's what people know, but it's basically a change of costume. But that is sort of a reincarnation, or you're just taking another body uh, as a as a costume or a dress for your soul. So that is not real death, and that's not real birth. So because you're only born once and you die once, and as Karthik said, you that's like you drop from the ocean and you go back to the ocean of divinity. So I'm just clarifying. I'm just for the sake of
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
everybody knows about it, but I just thought I'd add the
I was
perspective.
expecting your intervention, given
And,
you're a lover of that supplement.
Hmm.
it's just that it's quite profound. And
Yes, yes, yes.
also in Listen Humanity, there is this
Chapter
elab-
4.
there's elaborate mention about all this.
Yeah. Wake, dream state, and death.
Yes, dream state and death.
Yes, yes, yes.
If anyone
Okay. So,
wants, I can get they can I can give the references. Jai Baba.
uh, no problem. Thank you.
Jai
We can
Baba.
continue. We can continue.
And the new life. This phase was and still is a divine enigma to me. Can the limited mind ever fathom the universal mind? Never. Yet my monkey mind went on speculating upon his phase, this phase. Now, years later, I may add that Baba had to become an extraordinary, ordinary person of the new life subsequently to declare on September 7th, 1953, his status as the highest of the high, perfect God, perfect man, which is beyond the phases of the old and the new life. The declaration of irrevocable step of Manonash at Hyderabad was an intensely profound event of the new life. Jai Baba.
Okay, this is a interesting uh, concept that he's expounding. So he's basically saying that uh, Baba had to become an extraordinary, ordinary person of the new life so that he could build up, or not build up, he could get to the point where he does the 1953 declaration of the highest of the high, which is again very interesting. So, I mean, it's just Bal Natu's personal opinion at this time. Okay, so we go to the next chapter, beginning of the Manonash phase, 1951, part 3.
A tentative program after the momentous meeting held in the last week of June, Baba and those accompanying him in the new life continued their stay at Hyderabad. Murli Kale was one of them. One day, however, he expressed a wish that if Baba had no objection, he would like to complete a full course in homeopathy. Baba readily released Murli for the new life and sent him back to the old life, asking him to qualify as a homeopath. Murli later practiced as a doctor in Jabalpur till he died in 1977. According to Baba's order, on July 10th, the servant companions and the woman mandali fasted for 24 hours beginning at 6 a.m. the same day. Perhaps this was the year when Baba started giving instructions to his dear ones about observing a fast or silence on this memorable day. In the later years, especially in 1960s, a regular circular would be issued to Baba's people about such observances. In 1968, the option of fasting was not given. Maybe Baba indicated that henceforth his followers would commemorate this day by observing silence. The silent, loving remembrance of the Silent One on July 10th is a delightful experience, a spiritual treat worth trying. In the second week of August, Baba called Meherji Adi Jr., Baba's youngest brother, to Hyderabad for a meeting in which he discussed certain arrangements to be made in the near future. With references to the immensity of Manunash, Baba hinted that there was the possibility of his dropping his physical body during this critical phase. He also told them that during the specified period of 4 months, October 16th through February 16th, he would be absolutely free to act as he liked. He would, if he so felt, change any previous plans at any moment. He would exercise absolute freedom from any conventional bindings. During this meeting, he also chalked out a tentative program for the 4 months, which consisted of the following phases. Number one, Baba wanted to spend 30 to 40 days on a hill which had a spiritual background. He wanted the hill not to be too close or too far away from the city of Hyderabad. Baba informed Meherji and others that he had already approved of such a hill and that preparations had been undertaken to make the place suitable for all his stay. His work on the hill was to be the first phase. Number two, in the second phase, Baba planned to march on foot from Hyderabad to Aurangabad. He casually mentioned that during this journey he might don just a lion cloth, langoti, or any other dress. He might eat 4 times a day or fast for days on end. In short, he would do whatever God would want him to do. Number three, the third phase depended on Baba's physical condition. Adi was to find a suitable hill near Ahmednagar or Pune, where Baba would be concluding his Manonash work. Baba also stated that because of the two preceding phases, wherein he would be deeply absorbed in achieving Manonash, there was the probability that his physical body would be on the verge of being shed. If such a situation would arise, Baba wanted to spend the days till February 16, 1952, at a place associated with old life Mehrazad Hill. In anticipation of such an exigency, he gave certain instructions to Adi and Adi Jr. to consult Sarosh and Padri about repairing the cabins and erecting a tent on top of the hill. Such indefiniteness and refusal to commit himself to a set program was not treated by his close ones as a I- gap in or lack of knowledge on Baba's part. They were deeply convinced that Baba was setting an example for man, the way he should totally trust under any and all circumstances in the omnipotent will. Owing to this element of unprecedentability, Baba's new life is regarded by some as the period of utter incomprehensibility. They are not completely wrong. The divine life of Avatar is beyond the comprehension of human understanding. In addition, it cannot be denied that the new life of Meher Baba was an unprecedented phase. Unexpected help from Baba's schoolmate. In the third week of August, a circular from Meher Publications brought the following news to Baba people. Baba never had and never will have any concern with the politics. He therefore desires that if any of you do political work, you must never involve him or make use of his name in connection with that work. Baba desires that all his old life followers should not give way to the temptations of pursuing selfish ends. They should kindle in their hearts the light of love for God. Perhaps by this Baba meant that the real religion of man lies in loving God selflessly. Here, I would like to include an excerpt from Meher Baba's message on religion and politics, delivered a year or so later, clarifying his approach towards these two much talked of subjects. He stated, as the divine life embraces in its being one and all, including even in the members of the animal and vegetable kingdoms, and since from the moment of the attainment of Manunash, annihilation of the limited mind, I have attained complete unity with the immeasurable and illimitable divine life. I cannot and will not identify myself with any caste, creed, religion, or political party. From my point of view, all religions are great, but God is greater. In the same way, all political parties are in their own way noble, at least in their consciously accepted objectives. But the claims of the undivided and indivisible life are irresistibly supreme and, as such, greater than those of any party, howsoever noble. The issuing of the previous
One
circular.
second. We'll see where that is from. Yeah,
Meher
it's
Baba,
from.
yeah,
Yeah,
you go ahead.
go ahead. It's from
Uh,
The Fairy Life and Seven Other Messages, a booklet by Meher Baba, published in November 1952. Yeah.
the issuing of the previous circular about participation in politics and also a practical reason. In August 1947, after India's independence from British rule, the Nizam of Hyderabad tried to establish his sovereignty apart from India. Soon, a stage was reached where the Indian government had to intervene to declaring a police action against the Nizam, who eventually had to surrender, and Hyderabad state became an integral part of the rest of the nation. A year had passed by when the
Again, there's a reference. In 1951, on the basis of linguistics, Hyderabad state was divided and merged into three existing states: Andhra, Karnataka, and Maharashtra. So this is 1951.
now it's
And
further
that's,
divided.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. So we continue from here.
yeah. A year had passed by, but the communal unrest and political rivalries had not subsided. Movements of people visiting Hyderabad from different parts of India were looked on with apprehension, and Baba's companions, a group belonging to different religions and even nationalities, were sometimes unduly interrogated by the police. In the earlier meetings with the mandali, Baba had hinted that during the Manunash phase he would exercise absolute freedom from the conventional ways of life. So it was rightly presumed that if such behavior on Baba's part evoked inquisitiveness in people, it would unnecessarily bother him and might even impede his work. Irich, though, thought that before the commencement of this phase, It was essential to meet the superintendent of police and inform him of Baba's activities, especially the proposed march on foot from Hyderabad to Aurangabad. For his division, for this division was under his jurisdiction. He also planned to request the authorities to issue a departmental notice informing the police outposts. Along this particular route about the movements of Baba and his group. So one day Irich visited the superintendent office and tried to convince the junior officer to grant him an interview with his superior. He did not reveal his intention except to say that he had to see the superintendent on some urgent and serious matter. The sub inspector in charge reluctantly led Irich to the chamber of the boss. Mr. Reddy, the superintendent, seemed to be a fine person. He said to Irich, "What can I do for you?" Irich explained, "We are a party of six. My elder brother and one other member of our group observe silence. We intend to go on foot on a pilgrimage from Hyderabad to Aurangabad. During our journey, my elder brother and in his own ways wishes to offer some financial help to needy persons. Besides, he wants to pay his respects to the God intoxicated ones. We are from Bombay area. In view of the present situation, as a precaution, I request you to inform the police stations on this particular route about our journey so that our intention will not be misunderstood and that we may not unnecessarily be detained anywhere. And, sir, if you could give us a letter of introduction, we shall be grateful to you." Mr. Reddy very attentively heard each word, but he asked Iraj to wait a while and he phoned his residence to ask that he would soon be returning home with a guest. Iraj thought that Mr. Reddy was preoccupied with some other work. The talk, however, continued, and at the end, Superintendent unexpectedly asked Iraj to accompany him to his bungalow. With a feeling of wonder, Iraj followed him to the car, and uh, uh, in a short time, found himself in a well-furnished house. Mr. Reddy asked him to make himself comfortable in the living room, and he went inside the house. After about 10 minutes, a servant brought some refreshments and tea, but the host did not return. After a few minutes more of suspense, Mr. Reddy entered the room. He looked happy and was holding an old glass photo frame. In his hand, it was a group of pho- it was a group photo of a young student, a cricket team, pointing at Baba. Mr. Reddy said, "Is M.S. Irani your elder brother?" "I guess I'm right." This was a great surprise to Iraj. Mr. Reddy explained that he had studied at St. Vincent's High School with Baba at Pune and that he had been on the same cricket team. It became clear that Mr. Reddy, as the superintendent of police, already knew about Baba's stay in Hyderabad, and from Irach's talks, he had definitely concluded that Irach was referring to his schoolmate, Mr. M.S. Irani. Iraj could not no longer conceal Baba's identity. After some cordial conversations, he left the house with the assurance that he would get the letter of introduction and also a confirmation that information about Baba's activities would be, be issued to the police stations on the Hyderabad Aurangabad highway. When Iraj told Baba about his unexpected unexpected response from the superintendent, Baba looked very pleased. However, because of the new life conditions, the two good old cricketers could not meet each other. Within a few days, Irich collected the required certificates without any difficulty from the office. Thus, a friendly gesture from an old schoolmate saved the Baba party from any type of inter, inter what is this? Interrogation.
Interrogation. Yeah.
Interrogation. The police in the state of Hyderabad. Um, it was about this time that another of Baba's schoolmates, who was also one of his dearest disciples, Dr. Abdul Ghani Munsif, breathed his last on August 20th at about 7 in the evening. He passed away of a heart attack in Pune. Baba dictated a special circular about Ghani. A part of it read, of the many things I have had to renounce and to suffer in the new life, the passing of Ghani is among the greatest. To me, more than any of you, Ghani was unique, and of all the work that still remains to be done for by me by others, there is much that could have been done for me by Ghani and none else. The big head of his was truly a treasure house in which wisdom and wit were blended to perfection. We were intimate friends since our earliest years, and no one knows better that I now courageous that I knows better than I how courageous and how loyal and loving was his heart. To me, therefore, Ghani is irreplaceable, both as a friend and as a tool for my work. Model, safety, reach.
No, no, no. Yeah. So it's again a New Life Circular. The New Life Circular number 30, September 1st, 1951. That's when this was announced because August 20th, Ghani died. August 20th. And then the circular came September 1st. The Superintendent Reddy was a surprising and interesting story, right? Very interesting.
Yeah, you know,
I,
uh, what made me emotional
yeah, I
is
realized. Yeah.
Baba just shows up in people, in all kinds of circumstances. His
When,
reference, or he just points you, and he is not a distant god somewhere hanging in a poster. He just
yes.
he just shows up for you. That's why I was a bit emotional. Thank you.
Yeah.
So
Correct, correct.
Yeah. Yeah. I
This
realized. Yes.
this story of Iraj meeting the police station is also on the Mandali Hall talks.org. I just tried to post the link, but if you can search on that website, Iraj visits a police station. You used to be able to hit that under the Iraj talk section. This is very unique way of Iraj telling the stories. Is very heartening to listen. And he says he was such a dirty attire because they were all traveling and there was no time to bathe and all that very dirty visits. And he goes and wants to meet the head of the police station. Is was very difficult actually, but he kept on persisting, and finally that attendant gave up and made him to visit him, and he takes him to his home. He was even more surprised that this fellow is taking me in his car to his home, and then he serves him so much food to eat. Then Dheeraj says we have not, I had not eaten properly for months together. So he gobbles up everything that is served to him, and I mean the way he Dheeraj explains
It is
is
about a
amazing.
new life.
Same story. Yeah, same story.
Yeah. 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 I will share this on the WhatsApp as well.
Yeah,
So that
I have posted on the Telegram
I saw that. I saw
group.
that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
so
share.
I hope you should be able to hit that audio. Yeah, Jai Baba.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Do you want to listen to the audio now, or how long is the audio? If you have
I think 80.
seen.
It's a bit long, 18 minutes or
So
something.
we'll do it later. I mean,
Yeah,
we'll share it on the group and everybody
yeah,
can listen to it because
yeah.
it's the same account
And uh,
in first person by Erich on an audio file. Thanks for finding it.
yes, yeah. And you may just
uh,
click on the Avatar Hyderabad Center website, where on the first page itself, if I remember it right, they gave number of times Baba made visit to Hyderabad. That's something,
Okay.
being a Hyderabad, we can see maybe now or a bit later. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, we can see that.
This is a very big lake. It is about 45 square kilometer. Osman Sagar.
Wow.
Yeah. So
This is not the
yeah, in the same
site.
website, but I don't know where. Baba and Hyderabad. Just click that. Second, under the Baba's picture.
Okay.
Under Baba's photograph.
Yeah.
Here
He
he had a
visited the
table.
several times between 1938 and
Go down.
1956.
There's a table also, if I remembered it right. Yeah, here
Yeah.
it is a table. Yeah. So
Total
around,
number of days is 360.
yeah, so it's a pretty long period. 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I said 14. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And they gave that place coordinates also.
Yeah.
Not
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Have any of you been to the cave?
Yeah, I've been. I've been.
Yeah, this is the cave. This is the cave, Manunash
To
cave,
the
which we are
cave.
going to read about now.
It's very close to Gopi's home. I went to his home also when Shashwat was studying in Hyderabad.
Okay.
And from his home, it is a walkable distance.
Oh, I
And
didn't know that, but his
they have a
father is,
key.
yeah, they have
Yeah,
a key.
they
Yeah,
keep
his
a
father
key
is
of
the
the
one
place.
that, yes.
You can just collect the key from his home.
Yes.
Walking distance from his home. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, these are some more photographs of the cave. There are photographs of inside as
Yes.
well, I hope.
Yes.
Yeah.
They have, I think, annual this thing in middle of November.
Yes.
Right.
The at this place.
Correct.
Okay. We can rotate the reading also, given we
Jai
had quite a
Baba,
bit of. Thank you so much for reading, Norm.
Jai Baba.
Anybody wants to read? No. So I will read for some time.
Okay.
सुनील जी आप पढ़ोगे?
Okay, दे दो. ठीक है. I'll read. Yeah. Where are we?
Sure.
Sorry. Just
Models, yeah.
Models safely reach Khojura.
Khojaguda. So Khojaguda. Guda is
Kojaguda.
hill. Hill is Guda. So
Okay.
Khoja is probably a corruption of Khwaja or whatever. So it's the name to that name given to the hill. Khojaguda.
Kojaguda Hill. Kojaguda Hill is about 15 to 18 kilometers from Hyderabad. On its top, there is Dargah of Hazrat Baba Fakhruddin, who lived in 14th century. He was regarded and revered as a great wali. At present, although this Dargah has become a place of yearly pilgrimage, strangely, it has no roof. On inquiry, one learns that in past quite a few times, the wali's admirers contributed to build a roof over the tomb, but every time within a few days it was blown off. This led people to conclude that Baba Fakhruddin prefers exposure to the heavens for all time. On one of the hill sides, there is an old temple of Vishnu with an image of God reclining on a big coiled cobra, Shesh, its hood spreading over his head. Another important place close to Dargah is a cave about 20-inch by 15-inch. 20-inch, am I right? 20 by 15, whatever the measure is.
That's feet, I think.
Feet.
20 feet by 15 feet. The height from the entrance gradually decreases and the darkness increases as one gets inside. In
I can't hear you. Is that just me?
No,
Yeah,
we are not able to hear.
Yeah, so I'll just pick up from that. The height from the entrance gradually decreases and the darkness increases as one gets inside. In the interior part, there is a ledge which served as a shelf for the models which Baba kept near him during his special work of Manonash. Baba, on his first visit to the hill, instructed the companions to construct two improvised rooms in the premises of the Dargah.
I lost.
He asked them to keep the three places in the Dargah, the temple, and the cave clean. Uh, he asked them to keep the three places, the Dargah, the temple, and the cave, clean. Baba wanted to stay here for a fortnight, but the scarcity of water threatened to upset this plan. The companions, while walking about, happened to notice a pond of stagnant water. Baba seemed happy to hear this. Having regarded this site as an ideal place for his work, he told the companions that they could use the water for all purposes after boiling and filtering it. At the foot of the hill were paddy fields and palm trees, some standing erect, while a few grew close to the ground. This hill itself was barren and had no vegetation. It only abounded in big black stones. Before the inauguration of the Manonash phase, a month or so earlier, Baba had asked Erach to get five models: a temple, a mosque, a church, a pagoda, and a fire temple known as an Agyari. That is a footnote. It's basically friendship with fire. It's a Zoroastrian temple. These These respectively represented five religions of the world: Hinduism, Islam, Christianity, Buddhism, and Zoroastrianism. A craftsman from Agra was assigned the job of preparing these models. He, however, expressed his inability to carve an agyari, the place of worship for the Zoroastrians or the Parsis, because he had never seen the interior structure of a fire temple. So, Erat sent him a drawing of a fire urn, which is kept in the sanctum of any Parsi place of worship. Accordingly, all these models were cut in alabaster. The approximate size of each was 7 inches by 7 inches by 7 inches. Each one could be separated into four or more parts and could easily be fitted on a very thin plate of soft marble. The temple had a small Shivaling, and inside the pagoda was a tiny image of Lord Buddha. When Baba learned that all the models were obtained intact at Hyderabad from Agra, he looked specially pleased. The companions, however, had no idea of the way Baba was intending to use these models. On October 13, Baba instructed some of his companions to take the necessary luggage to Khoja Gudda Hill along with the box containing the models. They packed and placed every piece carefully in the car and set out. The car stopped at the foot of the hill. Pendu, Gustaji, and Baidul started to walk towards the Dargah to inspect the site and rooms. Meanwhile, Erach parked the car, rolled up the windows, locked the doors, and then followed the other companions. He had hardly gone 10 to 12 meters when the sound of the moving car made him look back. He was greatly astonished to find that the car had started rolling backwards. He rushed towards the car, but it had already started picking up speed, so it was impossible for him to open the locked door and get a hold of the steering wheel. He helplessly tried to run alongside the car and slow it down, but soon he had to give up, for unbelievably, the car started leaping over rocks and bushes. Fantastic. Sometimes, confronted with an obstacle, the car would stop, back up, or turn aside, extremely quixotic. Erech had left the car in neutral and had put the emergency brake on. In spite of this, the car started skipping over slanting, toddy palms as if it were possessed by some spirit. This erratic movement of the car could be regarded as symbolic of the frenzied mind waiting for its annihilation at the end of the Manonash phase. Eventually, after this incredible display of jumping, the car got stuck in a muddy paddy field. Pendu and others who were watching this strange phenomenon felt relieved at its expiration. Irach, however, looked worried, perhaps for the model's safety. He knew that the other pieces of luggage were replaceable, but not the alabaster models. These had been designed under Baba's instructions, and it was obvious that he definitely wanted them for his work, beginning on October 16th. Irach anxiously got near the car and cautiously opened the door. He was sure that the car had been seriously damaged. He turned the ignition key and the engine started, but it made a frightful noise. With his hands on the steering wheel, Erich was trying to think of what to do next. Just then, a truck which had bought faggots, fuel for the Baba party, arrived. With the help of this truck, they towed the car from the muddy field onto the regular road. Erich and the driver of the truck inspected the car engine and found that the paddy, straw, and leaves had gotten into it. When these were removed, the engine no longer made a queer noise, and despite its mysterious jumps, there were no visible signs of damage to the car. The pieces of luggage, along with the box containing the models, were carried up the hill. In one of the rooms, Erich, somewhat nervously, opened the box and had another surprise. All the models were perfectly safe. Let's see the footnote. At present, these models are preserved in a glass case in Adi K. Irani's office at Ahmednagar, India. I think it is now in the Mandali Hall in Mehrazad.
No, no. I think they are at the museum near the Samadhi.
Museum? Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
I thought it was in the Mandali Hall towards the back door. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Okay. Let's check it. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm sorry, Sunil, I took over because Sunil, I think your connectivity had an issue and we suddenly stopped hearing you. So that's where I took over. So once you're in a better spot, you can pick up and continue and read for some time. Okay, I'll continue. Not a piece was broken, not even a scratch was noticed on any of them, and all heaved a sigh of relief. Owing to this unforeseen event, the companions were late in getting back to Hyderabad. Baba inquired about the delay. Gustadji, one of the Mandli, who was observing silence and had silently witnessed the whole episode, was also a great mime and exquisite storyteller. He related the entire episode, Irach interpreting Gustadji's gestures. This gave Baba many a hearty chuckle. Nevertheless, he neither expressed any surprise what had happened, nor did he make any passing remark about this mysterious happening, not even in later years. Second anniversary of the new life. On October 15th, Donkin drove Baba to Koja Guda Pahad. Vishnu, Neelu, and a mullah, a Mohammedan priest, accompanied Baba in the car. The five companions, Gustaji, Baidul, Pendu, Irach, and Daulat Singh, who were to stay with Baba during the Manonash phase, had already arrived. Minu Kharas, who was permitted by Baba to be with him, could not join the party for reasons of health. It was drizzling, and at 3 p.m., Donkin's car, wet with rain, arrived at the foot of the hill. All walked up, and after a quick round of inspection, Baba looked pleased with the arrangements made in the dargah of Baba Fakhruddin. After a short while, the mullah, in the presence of Baba and his companions, offered the conventional prayers, and those who came with Donkin, except for Baba, returned to Hyderabad. The next day, October 16th, was the second anniversary of Baba's new life, and it seemed that he wished to plunge deeply into his Manonash phase, the abnegation of the personal will in the divine volition. So that's, I believe, Baba's definition of the Manonash phase. I repeat, the abnegation of the personal will in the divine volition. So that's Manonash.
What is the meaning of
And
volition?
I will do that. I will just read out the meanings as well. Just give me 1 second. I was exactly thinking of the same. Abnegation, I think, is just negation. Uh, the act of renouncing or rejecting something. So to ignore the issues would, yeah. So example is abnegation of political lawmaking or power. To ignore these issues would be a serious abnegation of their responsibilities. So it's basically act of renouncing or rejecting something. So abnegation is the rejection of the personal will, right? And then divine volition is nothing but will, I think. The faculty or power of using, yeah, perfect. The faculty or power of using one's will. Without conscious volition, she backed into her office is an example. So, volition is will. So, the abnegation of the personal will in the divine volition. So, you dissolve your personal will, your personal identity, your personal ability to do something in that of the divine will. And that's the way Baba has described Manonash. This was also, I continue reading, this was also a day of great importance to those who had attended the meeting called in June at Hyderabad. The participants were regarded as witnesses to the declaration made by Baba, and they were ordered by him to fast on October 16th for 24 hours on tea and water only. In the premises of the Dargah, Baba offered 5 slightly different prayers to God, the Infinite One, who, during the avataric advents, assumed the human forms of Zoroaster, Krishna, Buddha, Jesus, and Muhammad. As all the companions were solemnly standing, Baba gestured to Erech to read the following: O Ahura Mazda, in the name of your infinite greatness, and in the name of your beloved self, Zoroaster, and in the name of all prophets and saints and your lovers, Meher Baba beseeches you to help him to carry out successfully his 4 months' work beginning from today, the 16th October 1951, and asks you in all humility to have his desire fulfilled and the ultimate object achieved by 16th February 1952. With a few changes in addressing God, the Eternal One, as Paramatma or Allah, the above quoted prayer was proffered in the names of the beloved avatars Krishna and Buddha, beloved son Jesus, and beloved Muhammad Mustafa. On the same day, according to Baba's earlier instructions, 5 of his dear ones who were in the old life were deputed by him to visit Udwada, Gujarat, Mathura in Uttar Pradesh, Sarnath in Bihar, Goa near Bombay of Maharashtra state at that time, and Ajmer, Rajasthan. So they were probably visiting temples in these places. Mathura is linked to Krishna, Sarnath linked to Buddha, Goa, I think, to Saint Francis Xavier's chapel, and Ajmer is the perfect master in Ajmer Sharif, which is what is the one? Ibn Nawaz. Yeah. Udwada, I don't know what is Udwada famous for. You should check
Udwada
that out.
is near the Mumbai Gujarat border, and Udwada is
Uh-huh.
the place. You're able to hear me?
Yeah. I'm just
Udwara is the
checking
place
Udwada.
where the Parsis came running from Iran uh,
Okay.
after the Islamization, and that is the place which has a sacred fire which came
It's
from Iran
continuing
to
to burn.
India.
Correct.
Same
Correct.
fire was bought here actually. So Udwara Parsis
Yes.
keep visiting Udwara. Yeah, it's close to
Yeah, that's
Mumbai
where it
actually.
is.
It's a beach actually on the side of the sea. Yeah, yeah,
That's
you can see that.
Udwada, and
Yes.
that's below Surat, and
Yes.
that's the fire temple. And
Yes.
now I remember, it's exactly what Sanjay ji mentioned. It's basically
Right.
the fire temple. So now it completes the
Yes.
picture. Zoroaster, Krishna, Buddha, Christianity represented in India by Francis Xavier's shrine, and Islam represented by Ajmer Sharif. So, um, got a question. How many of you have visited all these places? I have only visited Mathura and Goa. So I'm yet to visit Sarnath,
I've
Udva.
seen
No, I
Goa
visited
and
Ajmer as
Sarnath.
well.
I've seen
Okay.
Goa and Sarnath. I have been. Yeah.
Okay. I've been to Mathura, Goa, and Ajmer. I have to do Sarnath and Udwara.
Sarnath you have seen, I think, when we went to Varanasi.
Uh, but in
Ud,
that trip, there
Udwara
was no
actually.
Sarnath.
Ud,
Oh, yes,
Udwara you
there
No,
can
was. You're
go,
right.
but you cannot go inside actually. So you can
Okay. Yeah,
see
because it's
the
not
fire
allowed.
temple from outside. Non-Parsi is
Correct.
not allowed. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have been to Goa. I think that there was a Mayor Baba party which went to Goa, and Francis Xavier's uh, and Ajmer Sharif. Yes, but
Yes.
I think the more important thing is that Baba is saying that all are one. So all religions are one, and I think that is the significance of the models also.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, wow.
Okay, let's continue. According to the Indian traditions, these towns respectively represent one of the principal places of worship for the Zoroastrians, the Hindus, the Buddhists, including the Jains, the Christians, and the Mohammedans. These are also the centers of immense spiritual importance. The nominated Baba lovers were to visit these places in advance to find one righteous poor person belonging to the faith the place of pilgrimage stood for. Baba followers were then asked to request that this person fast on October 16. On this day, after taking a bath, the man was to visit that sanctifying abode, an agyari, a temple, a pagoda, a church, or a mosque, and recite a special prayer previously dictated by Baba. At the end, on Baba's behalf, the nominees were to offer each one of these five persons 101 rupees as dakshina. Now, there is a footnote. Dakshina is just describing dakshina, cash or kind offering to a person as a mark of respect for discharging spiritual duties. On this day, in the dargah of Baba Fakhruddin, Baba went into seclusion at night till the early hours of the morning, continuously for 7 hours. The companions were posted outside on watch so that nothing should disturb Baba in his work. Only the five models were keeping was keeping Baba company. Thus began the phase of Manonash in earnest. Manonash means passing out of the separative self mind to abide in God. Baba being the God man, whose Manonash, whose Manonash did this phase indicate? He did not explain. With reference to Meher Baba's advent as the avatar, the God man, Hazrat Baba Jan, one of Baba's Sadgurus, man God, used to refer to a Persian couplet meaning Of your own, you were free. Of your own, you allowed yourself to be bound. And any Baba lover, as an ordinary man, may dare say that Baba, out of his compassion for those who are ordained to be in his orbit of his love, took on himself this additional binding of Manonash so that its consequent consummation could help his dear ones break the shackles of their minds to get closer to him in his own time. I'm not sure what this line means. Let me go and read it again. Maybe I didn't read it correctly. I start again. And any Baba lover, as an ordinary man, may dare say that Baba, out of his compassion for those who are ordained to be in the orbit of his love, took on himself this additional binding of Manonash so that its consequent consummation could help his dear ones break the shackles of their minds to get closer to him in his own time. So, if I get this right, Baba did this Manonash to help the lovers go through their own process of individual Manonash.
And here the
One,
a bit of
yeah,
confusing thing is additional binding. This is binding only for Baba. Additional binding of Manonath. So he is beyond all mind. He is not,
correct,
but he is taking a binding of this Manonath process of getting rid of the manas or the mind for the sake of his followers.
correct. So, yes, he has done something specifically for the lovers to help them in their individual journeys. And yeah, that is being described here as him taking on additional bound. So, took on himself, big H, additional binding, Manonash. Yeah, let's continue. One has not to forsake one's rationality after coming to Baba. As long as one has a mind, one is apt to have views whether he expresses them or not. However, after sincere and honest efforts, there comes a blessed moment when one cheerfully accepts one's inability to understand the hidden meanings behind the actions of the God man and one totally gives in. Perhaps with the development of such an attitude, Baba lovingly reveals a glimpse of himself in the heart of such a person that quiets the mind. The more the heart is emptied of dogmatic interpretations, the more it is filled with the light of his renewing love. Then the apparent contradictions and paradoxes do not bother such a lover. It is love alone that counts. Baba's visit to the cave on Khoja Gudda Pahad started on October 18. Erach carried with him the box of models and, according to Baba's instructions, arranged them on the ledge inside the cave. The first sitting was of 7 hours at a stretch. A day later, in a similar way, Baba spent 3 hours in Vishnu's temple. In the afternoon, he contacted a must named Ghulam Hussain. Baba's work in seclusion continued for 9 days on this pahar and he felt satisfied. So he changed his previous plan of staying there for 15 days and decided to set out on the march on foot. Two routes in India shall specially be remembered by Baba lovers for the avatar of the age, having journeyed on foot on these roads during his new life. One is in the north of India, Benares via Sarnath to Najibabad, Uttar Pradesh, and the other to the south from Khojagoda Pahad near Hyderabad, AP, to Mehrazad Hill via Aurangabad, Khuldabad, and Imampur in Maharashtra. In the afternoon of October 24th, Baba with the 5 companions, left the memorable hill of Kojaguda with their bag and baggage. It took him about a month to reach the most memorable and significant seclusion hill at the back of Mehrazad. During this journey, depending upon Baba's mood and the urgency of his work, the party sometimes traveled by bus, goods lorry, or even a bullock cart. The first halt of this march was at Lingamapeta. In a dark bungalow, the party rested for the night and the march was resumed the next morning. During the first week of tramping, Baba once noticed that dear old Gustadji looked rather tired. Though he did not complain of any fatigue, Baba, under this pretext, allowed the whole party to avail itself of the opportunity to travel by truck. In fact, it was loaded with so many odd things that the companions had somehow to accommodate themselves on pieces of luggage of various sizes. At Jogi Peta, the party got some information about a mosque of that town and got down. The companions tried to find this person, but all their efforts were in vain. At the next stop, Sadashivapeta, Baba was very happy because he contacted a good mosque. This God intoxicated soul looked bizarre for his eccentricities, had veiled the flame of love that had lit his heart. The party moved on to Chitgop, and another fool of God named Gopal was contacted. In his divine intoxication, Gopal seemed to flout the laws of hygiene. Love indeed is self sufficient, it does not depend on anything but itself. In the old life, the mandali were not allowed to witness Baba's meetings with the masks. With the commencement of Baba's new life, the ban was lifted and the companions could watch the loving responses of the masks in the company of their divine beloved. The masks would often be drawn closer to Baba with sudden affection. Sometimes overpowered with emotions, they would gaze at him, beaming with intimacy and inner recognition. Baba's redeeming touch and radiant glances would fill their hearts of the masks with rare ecstasy and blissful agony, which I presume later opened wider visions in their states of involved consciousness. The next stop of the journey was at Humnabad, which is famous for the Samadhi of Manik Prabhu, a perfect master of the 19th century. Later, his son and disciple Manohar enjoined his followers to bury him alive near the Samadhi of his dear father and master. At midday, Baba quietly sat near the Samadhi of Manohar Prabhu, and then the party proceeded to Gulbarga. A delightful Diwali day. On October 29, Baba left Gulbarga for Eidgah, where he contacted a very lovable mast. In the 1940s, Baba had twice visited this village. Some years back, this mast, in his divine exuberance, used to roam about naked. Later, he was persuaded to wear clothes. He usually stood near a particular well, eating roasted gram, grain by grain. At the time of his first contact in his innocence, he implored Baba to break his silence, while during the second meeting, he offered Baba a cup of tea from which he had some sips. Baba accepted the drink with love. After this third satisfactory meeting, Baba boarded a bus for Gulbarga. But after a short journey, he got down and, with the 3 companions, walked the distance to the dark bungalow at Gulbarga. The 4th companion was asked to follow a bullock cart in which a few belongings of the party were kept. Use of any conveyance or its rejection was totally at Baba's discretion. No one questioned why. Rather, such thoughts were alien to the companions. The next day, Baba visited the distinguished dargah of Khwaja Bande Nawaz. Arrangements were made for him to sit for half an hour quietly in a secluded spot. After the silent sitting, instead of going back to their residence, Baba wished to contact some mas who usually roamed about the city. Baidul, who was with Baba, was adept at finding these God intoxicated souls. With his tenacious memory, he could remember the names of the mas residing in different parts of India and also the localities they moved about. So, he began to lead Baba to different parts of the city to spot these men of God. In the morning, Baba had entrusted some additional work to Irach, side by side with the work of contacting the God absorbed and the God commune. Baba also wished to continue his work with the poor in a special way, which he had adopted from the new life. He instructed Irach to find a few once rich middle class families, irrespective of caste, color, and creed, who, owing to some unforeseen calamities, were in dire need of some financial help. Baba wanted to extend some monetary aid to the heads of such families. Erach, who had previous experience with this type of work, set out to meet some social workers in the city and gathered some preliminary information. To verify the facts, he started visiting different houses with a few people who volunteered to help him. This activity of Erach's aroused an uninvited concern in a prominent businessman who happened to be one of the city fathers. Incidentally, it was at this time that the communists were concentrating on a major revolutionary move for the poor in the adjacent province of Telangana. The above mentioned businessman belonged to the other political party which had its base in Gulbarga. He assumed Erich was one of the workers of the Communist Party. He was upset that Erich seemed to be setting up some sort of poor relief program without consulting him. His political influence was challenged. He phoned police headquarters and suggested an immediate inquiry into the intentions of this stranger visiting the city. A police constable was at once sent to summon Erich for interrogation. The constable approached Erich and asked him to report to the police station. Erich refused to obey this oral order and continued his work of visiting the houses. When he felt convinced of the information gathered from the social workers, he started instructing the heads of the families about the formal procedure that his elder brother would observe while offering the financial help. Then he started for the rest house. While on his way back, he met Baba and Baidu. A little later, the constable approached Erich for a second time and, in an authoritative tone, asked him to present himself before his boss. The Baba party had official permission to travel throughout the state as well as credentials from the office of the superintendent of police at Hyderabad. So Erich openly told the policeman, "We are staying in the Dak bungalow. This is our address. And if your inspector needs any information about us, please request him to see us there." The constable was surprised to receive such an outspoken reply, but he had to leave. The party went back to the rest house. It was late afternoon and no one had had his lunch. The walk had been quite exhausting. So the companions preferred to have a bath before the meal. By evening, they felt relaxed. But just then, a police van drove in. The deputy superintendent of police, who felt rather offended at Erich's reply, had personally come to the Dak bungalow, perhaps to exercise his authority. But the moment that he saw Pendu, all the misgivings he had about the Baba party vanished. He knew Pendu well as one of Meher Baba's closest disciples. Some years earlier, he had been working as an inspector of police at Ahmednagar. In the beginning, he had suspected that Pendu was a member of one of the leftist groups, for he had seen Pendu in close company with a political leader of Ahmednagar who worked for the Communist Party. In fact, Pendu's concern in meeting him was in connection with Baba's work for the poor residing in certain villages. Baba wanted to distribute food grains and cloth to the needy villagers. The inspector, after a while, realized his mistake and felt convinced that Baba's mandali were above politics, leading a disciplined and dedicated life under Meher Baba's orders. He apologized to Pendu for his mistrust of him, and their relations became very cordial, especially after having Baba's darshan. Some years passed, and on promotion, he was stationed at Gulbarga as a deputy superintendent of police. Seeing him, Pendu said, "What brought you here? Any inquiry?" And both had a hearty laugh and a warm handshake. In his conversation, he told Pendu about the departmental circular they had received from the head office at Hyderabad. But in the route stated, therein Gulbarga was not included. When he read it, he even had thought how nice it would have been of Baba had he decided to pass by Gulbarga. And he requested, "Can I see Baba today?" Pendu went inside and explained to Baba the whole affair, and it surprised even Pendu that in spite of Baba's new life conditions, he permitted the police officer to have his darshan the next day. Accordingly, on October 31st, which happened to be the second day of Diwali, Padwa, Mr. Ghanti, for that was the name of the police officer, came in the morning with his wife and children. He had brought a big, beautiful garland of scented flowers and a basket of flowers, a basket of sweets, for it was an occasion of great rejoicing for the family. As he did not know about Baba's recent restrictions, he prostrated before Baba, and Baba did not object. After some time, the family left in a very happy mood. Thus, instead of Erach reporting at the police station, Baba made the deputy superintendent present himself before him at his residence. Beautiful story. Second police story that we heard today. So maybe we can stop at the end of this and then continue from here. Any thoughts about today's reading? Sunilji, I took over because your connection was bad, I guess. You were on the move probably.
Not on the move, but yeah, I had a power outage here, so sorry
Okay,
about
okay.
that. Yeah, sorry.
No problem. Uh, yeah. Any thoughts before we wrap up?
Beautiful pre Baba episode wherein he makes things very interesting, beginning with a sort of a doubt in our mundane minds and then ending with his darshan to his devotees. Thank you, Baba.
Indeed. Indeed, indeed.
I just realized this travel was 560 kilometers from Hyderabad to Aurangabad, where he visited the tomb shrine of Zarzari Baksh, who was the guru of Sai Baba. And from there they went to Imadpur, where there was a building, post office, guest house or something, where they stayed, and there is a story of a bird which was disturbing, and that his nest Baba asked Iraj to remove because it was all fluttering in the night, everybody was tired. And there's also a story of Baba asking mandali people to punish him for this act. So I think as we go forward, we'll read these.
It was
From
the
Imadpur, he
slap,
came
right?
to
It was
Mehrabad.
the slap. Yeah. It
Yeah,
was the
yeah,
slap.
yeah.
Yeah.
He came to Mehrabad and then he went up the hill again. And then from there, the new life ended. 560 kilometers. Wow, this is pretty long.
Amazing. Wonderful. Good to see you. I think you're all you're in Mehrabad. I will stop recording if there's no other comments on today's reading.
When Sanjay ji